All right. Good morning. Happy New Year. And welcome to CES 2026. The consumer products industry is at a massive inflection point for various reasons. The macroeconomic situation, the geopolitical instability, consumer preferences changing, and technology. Most companies are working really hard to survive, and some companies are winning. And one of them is Mars, an absolute winner in the consumer products industry. And we're lucky to have a powerhouse panel of three leaders from Mars here today. Before we start, I'll introduce myself. I'm Lokesh Ohri. I lead our consumer products sector for E&Y Consulting, and we're focused on helping our clients grow, drive operational efficiency, as well as find breakthrough human productivity using technology. Again, Mars is one of our clients and is doing all of these across the entire business. But today we're going to talk a lot about marketing. And with us today, we have Najoh Tita-Reid, who is the Chief Growth Officer of Mars Petcare, Rankin Carroll, Chief Brand Officer, Mars Snacking, and Matt Graham, Chief Marketing Officer for Mars Food and Nutrition. Suffice to say, you guys have been really busy, and it's rare to see the three of you on stage together at once. I mean, this is tremendous. Thank you, Brand Innovators, for pulling this off. I don't know how you did it, but you have done that. You guys are driving so much transformation at Mars, bringing human creativity, data, AI, technology, all of it together while building on the 100-year legacy of this business, which is really built on innovation and creativity. We'll start with something fun. So many brands. I can go on. Snickers, you have so many. Benz, Pedigree, Royal Canin. You can go on through the list. For each one of you, outside your core portfolio, which is a Mars product or brand that holds a special place in your heart, and why?
I can kick off. So being at Mars for over 20 years, I've had the privilege of working across our snacking and now food and nutrition business. But the one that's lived in my cupboard, because I've got a 11-year-old Border Collie and a 11-year-old British Shorthair cat. So I've had Royal Canin in my cupboard, built on science, amazing pet food brand, and it's just great health credentials for what healthy pets I have in my home today. Part of the family.
Joe, what about you?
I'm not choosing one of my own. I would absolutely choose M&M's. It is such an amazingly fun brand, but honestly, from a growth perspective, the fact that they have delivered such innovation year over year, the fact that they really build communities and are relevant in culture to multiple generations, I think the brand is just outstanding and iconic. So it's one of my favorite brands. So yeah.
Boys who are young boys, 5 and 3. Oh my God, the amount of M&Ms they consume is insane.
They're delicious.
Yeah.
It's actually brain food.
Yeah.
Good. If I had to choose, it's maybe a little dodgy. There we go. If I had to choose, I've been in the company for all 2 decades, and so I've seen a lot of our brands. But if I thought about the brand I admire most, the one I'm actually jealous of, I have to say, is Sheba. Sheba is an amazing brand. It's been, I think they've had a campaign running strong for about 10 years now. What cats want. They've been distinctive, they've been consistent. More consistent than my microphone. They've been distinctive, they've been consistent, and they've been growing like crazy. And by the way, they are trying to, and successfully moving forward on replenishing the reefs of the world, the coral reefs of the world, in a really amazing project, Sheba Hope Reef. So that's a brand I love.
That's awesome. All right, let's jump into it. Today's market is challenging, no doubt about that. Consumer preferences are changing, so many things are changing. But Mars continues to win. Tell us about how technology is really enabling your teams to innovate in today's day and age, to keep up with what we'd call the speed of culture, and how are you future-proofing your brands?
We'll maybe kick it off. So, I mean, I'd start with, what are we all here to do? You know, growth. We are here to grow our business. We're here to grow distinctive, memorable, brilliant brands and salient brands that are global and that scale. We are here to grow the number of households where our brands are present. And every year we look, are we making progress on that? And technology and moving at the speed of culture is at the heart of those two outcomes. So those are our big outcome metrics, if you will. And then we put it in the context of the consumer. So we need the consumer today is changing. We're here. They're influenced by all the great things we're going to see on the floor this week. Their lives are changing. And so we've got to keep up with that pace. And in many cases, we've got to start to set the pace. So technology is driving expectations, demands even for personalization at scale, demanding experiences that they can participate in, that they can get involved in, that they can get their community involved in, working with people they know, influencers, creators, all becoming part of a brand experience. And then technology is also at the heart of that. And if you apply that sort of context to our vision for how to build brands and how to build growth and demand, we talk about the right engagement at the right time with the right offering at every relevant touch point for everyone. Well, that's a big ask, and it's pretty basic, right? But at the heart of that, if you're talking about to make things right along that continuum, technology and personalization are critical to that. If you talked to me 5 years ago about personalizing, getting anywhere near one-to-one marketing and confectionery, I'd tell you you're crazy. I'd probably still tell you you're a bit crazy, but I'm a lot moved along the continuum to more targeted audiences, getting better performance. So to get to the point on technology and how that's influencing, whether it's about how you're building relevance, how you're building reach, how you're driving availability and managing and monitoring your availability and your in-stock on shelf, be it a digital shelf or a physical shelf, all of those aspects of our business and our value chain and our value creation are driven and being accelerated, becoming more efficient, becoming faster through AI, through technology, and we're applying it across the chain. So it's the most exciting time in my career and all of our careers, I would say, and it's great to be here doing those things.
Can I just add one to Rankin's answer? So I think the thing we've got to recognise within our business, if we're a family-owned business, we're very driven by our 5 principles at Mars. So although we are very heavily leaning into culture and using tech to drive that agenda, it is all in service and underpinned by our 5 principles, because we want to make sure, we talk internally that we stand on the shoulders of giants for those that have built the brands before us, and we want to make sure we're setting the next foundations for the generation, given this emerging and this disruption that we're facing around AI and digital today.
Awesome. So tech is center stage at CES. However, the human element, like you just said, is extremely important. At EY, we call it humans at the center of everything that happens. Mars is using technology across the entire business. You're using technology and creativity, bringing humans and your consumers in as collaborators in a very differentiated way. You're co-creating at scale at Mars in some sense. So tell us more about how you're reimagining the Mars growth playbook, especially as others are fighting to even hold on to their competitive advantages, and you guys keep winning.
Pick that up. I've been told to hold the microphone in a different way, so I'm learning on the fly right here. Working with technology to innovate at every turn. What was the question again? Sorry. So as we think about, back to this point on using technology to unlock our growth algorithm, our new way of brand building, which at the heart of our brand building is personalization at scale, co-creation with our fans as we build more meaningful, more salient, and more distinctive brands. So I think a really interesting example of that one for me is a bit of fun. I think we've got a video which we'll play in a minute on our Twix brand. And I just got to remind you, 2 is more than 1. 2 is more than 1. Twix, remember that. And on that brand, we started to have some fun. And we partnered with the folks at Meta and a couple of other startups on an innovation around voice notes. And it started from the fact that we know that Gen Z send around 7 billion voice notes a day. So this is a pretty rich environment to play. And we brought the Twix idea of 2 is more than 1 in that and said, how could we impact that? How could we get involved in that? How could we do something relevant for our consumer and invite them into co-creation? And we came up with this idea of harmonizer, so that when you're sending a voice note, you can add a little something, something to it, because you basically are creating a duet. So your voice note actually ends up being doubled up. So you've got 2 voices working in harmony. And sometimes you can put it on the part of the message that maybe is not too nice for the other person to receive, to sweeten it a little bit and make it a bit more fun. We put that out there through Meta, gave it so super simple functionality, and it just exploded. It took off. The results have been amazing in terms of consumer response. The internet in the region we launched it in really blew up around it. We got tons of social coverage. And most importantly, our brand and our business grew. We grew sales, we grew share, and we're actually starting to see gains in penetration, which is our number one metric. So super exciting impact on that. Now, I think we have the video.
I think so.
Yes.
Let's watch it.
Hey, it's me. I don't quite know how to say this, but I'm leaving you. Hey, it's me. I don't quite know how to say this, but I'm leaving you for your brother.
I hope you don't mind, but Mum's coming with us on holiday.
I'm also going to need you to work all weekend.
We don't want you at our wedding. But, on the bright side, you know how you've always wanted to be an uncle? Well, we're having a boy.
Everything sounds nicer in harmony. Make your voice note a duet with the Twix Harmonizer. 2 is more than 1.
So a little bit of fun, and really at the heart of that is human creativity, right? We talk about, in order, humans, creativity, and technology. In that order, that's how we think about application of technology to our brand building, and we just thought that was a fun little example to share. Matt, Najoh?
I give another example, but I love the Twix example. But just leveraging technology and humans, many of you have pets. In fact, over half the population has acquired a pet in some form or fashion. And when you think about choosing something like pet food, about 60% of the pet food that you choose for your puppy or kitten, you tend to stay with. And one of the things that's super important to us is making sure that we capture you at start of life or when you do acquire a puppy or kitten, ideally from a shelter. And a really huge influencer, given that this is a family decision very often, are the impact of children. And so we were able to partner with Google VO, and we were able to leverage technology to create the same leverage of studio technology that you would get from a major motion picture studio for a young child to be able to create a video on why they want a puppy. One of the key insights, if you've ever seen your kid put together a presentation, one of the first presentations they ever put through is why they want a puppy or kitten. And so we made it easier. We made it that they could have motion quality studio, and you could see them make a movie on why they wanted a puppy or kitten with all the benefits, including how they were going to care for it and how they were going to make the family better because of that. And so it was a major hit. We started this with our brand IAMS, and it has been successful and one of the most engaging interactions that we've had. And so just another example of human interaction, human insight, but leveraging technology in a way that has been impactful. And of course, AI made this possible for it to be personalized and customized at scale, which we're very proud of. So that's just another example of many that we've got.
Najoh, we'll keep going with you. I love that example, and I'm going to have to keep that away from my kids because they've been pestering us to get a pet. Mars and you, all of you individually, put consumers at the center of everything you do. You do it to better understand them, but also better connect with them. You just used the word connection before we came up on stage. Many people argue that AI is pushing consumers away, not bringing them in together or closer. How have you used AI to deepen that consumer relationship, and why does it matter?
Well, I think what matters the most is the human interaction. So AI is just a tool that allows us to do it at scale. So to me, it's not about the AI, but if you use a category such as Petcare, the relationships matter the most. They are meaningful relationships that last the entire life of a pet and, quite frankly, impact you and all of the benefits that it has on the human. Leveraging AI, for me, is a way to make it more personalized, what is already a personalized relationship, whether that's being able to customize their nutrition and do that at scale, whether it's be able to communicate to a pet parent in a way that's relevant. whether it's to be able to leverage AI to be able to get the data that allows you to follow the pet parent journey through their entire life and predict when you're going to get a pet or predict a health outcome. To me, AI allows me to do it in a scalable way that I would never be able to do on my own with just my team without this enabling amazing force. So it's not about the AI, it's about the personalization, human connection. But yes, I believe it allows me to do it better and make it much more personal.
Making it better and faster for you.
And more personal.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, I'm going to sort of switch into a topic that's probably top of mind for many of the marketers here, operational efficiency in the business. You're absolutely doing that. You're finding it both in the processes by reimagining the operating model and the processes, but also breakthrough human productivity. You're getting both. Tell us a little bit more about how you're deploying AI to balance creativity and quality. I bet you everybody here is sort of thinking about how to do that and kind of striking the balance, which you guys are. So talk about that balance and how you're achieving that. And most importantly, what's the ROI of some of the things that you're seeing here?
So maybe I can start, no doubt Najoh and Rankin will build. So in food and nutrition, it's a smaller segment within Mars, and we play an important role to be the test bed for some of these new applications we might want to scale in the future. And if I lift it up a little bit before I go into some of the examples, we set up a brand new model 3 years ago, which is a growth model within food and nutrition. We call it the kitchen, ironically, but it's really there to bring our agency models together so we're solving business problems, not just communication problems. And what we've baked into that growth model is the AI test kitchen, we call it, where we bring use cases into that to really prove, test and fail, but actually how do we unlock scale at a faster rate, not only for our segment, but also across Mars Incorporated. I think there's two that we've been able to leverage to scale, and many of you in the room will be familiar with this. You know, we've been working on media mix modeling, and it's quite cumbersome at times. It's costly. It takes a lot of time. There's a little lag, and many of our markets just can't afford the resource to do it. So we've been able to accelerate the insight generation of that. We're now rolling that through AI, an AI model that allows us to get to all markets, and in our bigger markets, multiple MMM studies in a given year, to allow us to get better return on that media investments. That's number one. The second, which I love being in food nutrition, we spend a lot of time on styling food in kitchens, and in the past you would spend virtually a week just in the kitchen on culinary expertise and photography around food. We're now accelerated that to be within 2 hours instead of a week's worth of work. We can now get quality product shots, not just in static, but also in motion, that we're now rolling that through our entire portfolio and even on some of our packaging with our innovation. So again, really unlocking that opportunity to leverage AI and tech to really bring some scale to how we bring our brands to life through food credentials as well. So just some examples that as we roll through. Any more, guys?
Yeah, listen, there's a couple. There's one sort of taking things to scale, and that's really around in our d-commerce space. We built in partnership with the folks at Writer AI, Grip, and the Google Cloud team coming together to design what we call a virtual studio. And that's an enabler of our d-com teams and our associates to actually create content on the fly, optimizing and really pushing that out to scale, pulling things from our dam, getting much better reuse factors. So there's both an efficiency and an effectiveness piece on this. And by the way, a measurability piece as well. So that's just a really exciting piece we're bringing to scale within the snacking business. And we're actually looking to scale it beyond across the segments. And then the thing I'd be remiss in not mentioning is the transformational experience we're going through with our new agency ecosystem, with our friends at Publicis, Omnicom, IPG, coming together, and really AI is at the heart of so much of that effectiveness. So whether we are getting more effective audience design that is much more efficient, it is allowing us to be much more precise and take out waste, or the other side of it is suppressing audiences and not throwing money away in a way that we've never experienced before. And that's already starting to show us returns that are quite remarkable. We've got a lot of work to do, and I think a point was made in an earlier talk we had that so much of this is about training your associates on how to use these tools and how to scale these tools and scale those capabilities. Because honestly, if you got a Ferrari but you don't really know how to drive a go-kart, well, it's not very helpful, right? So I think the biggest insight we're having, and we're working on this so much together, is the capabilities required to unlock this potential are going to make us or break us, because that will be the differentiator, and I think that will be the competitive advantage for us. But over to Matt.
Just add one on the capabilities. You know, I think one of the things that have kept me at Mars for so long is the training development you get, and I won't bore you with that detail. We have a really strong marketing college within Mars Incorporated, but the evolution of that, you know, we're working on at the moment that I'm sponsoring is how do we really infuse digital and building this capability, the digital revolution, if you like, into that capability that, moving forward as well. So again, we speak a lot about these use cases in silos, but how do they become part of the operating system, the operating model? But to do that, we need we call our employees associates to come on the journey with us and really lean into the new technology and new way of marketing that we call at Mars moving forward as well.
That's beautiful. At EY, we work with Mars quite a bit in each one of your businesses. It would be remiss not to talk about the Kellanova acquisition. The tremendous opportunity it creates for the business. Pringles, Eggo, Pop-Tarts. So maybe, you know, just starting off with you, Rankin, you are now the global powerhouse, the snacking powerhouse in the marketplace. Tell us about the opportunities this is unlocking for you.
He likes that, don't you?
Yeah. No, listen, Kellanova is a venerable, brilliant set of brands, amazing company, beautiful culture, fantastic people. So we're really going through those steps right now, and it's a wonderful experience really to meet that talent and just that mindset. And you know, look, strategically, great opportunity. You know, they're in tailwind categories that we were not in, so we've really opened up. It's a very complementary coming together. They're in both categories we're not in, obviously, which are growth categories, as well as in routes to market and geographies where we're not. So the complementarity, and also from their perspective, we bring routes to market and geographies, growth geographies, including things like China. So it really made sense, and it's been exciting. And I think we're just going through all the steps, both the cultural steps to get to know each other, but also trying to bring the benefits. And the great news is, again, back to our agency partnerships, we have a lot of similarities that we're setting up, and we're going to accelerate on that basis. That's super exciting. This agency ecosystem, hopefully that will be something that we can deploy at speed and scale and get those benefits out and multiply the benefit through that. But it's really about the transformation of the snacking category and being a leader in that regard, and upgrading it, bringing value to it, bringing better experiences to it, and creating value for the consumer and for our stakeholders. So it's an exciting time. Brilliant business.
How do you guys think about this acquisition today? And as you think about your brands and your businesses, what does the future hold for you as you continue to expand into this market?
Well, for me, it is just around the scalability of our overarching portfolio and how we're able to work together to create more value for consumers or pet parents or pet owners. To me, it just allows us to be continually more and more create new possibilities to solve pain points, to bring joy, and to be able to just add value overall. I think we have many examples because our portfolio is so big of as we've acquired certain things, how we're able to drive synergy. One of the examples that we were talking about earlier was it's one that's for Petcare, but it's as relevant as what could be possible when you're bringing in the amazing Kellanova portfolio. In Petcare, as an example, we've got a wonderful product called Greenies, which is around the amazing opportunity to have dental care. We also have thousands of veterinary hospitals that most people don't know is one of the largest pet care companies in the world. To be able to tie those brands together and leverage technology, because I recognize where we are, and to be able to offer technology that solves a problem. If most people don't know, unless you have a pet, that over 80% of pets have tooth decay and challenges with their teeth, which can really cause major health issues. Well, that's something that people know in the industry, but technology allows us to take a picture and a scan of those teeth, be able to understand it, solve it, use our veterinary hospitals to be able to give advice and guidance and be able to solve a problem. So there's two totally different brands, one a service business, one a brand that you can bring together to unlock value. If you think about our entire portfolio, nutrition, care, and all the different elements that we have. If we can continue to find possibilities and leverage technology to solve more pain points, I think the possibilities for Mars is endless. And so it's a privilege to be in a company with such a large portfolio.
Spot on. Matt, would you like to add something? As we sort of get towards the end of this, I do want to come back to CES. There's so much on the shop floor. There's so much happening here. What are you most looking forward to seeing, learning, and maybe even sharing with others?
I think this is our third year we've been here as a team. And I think, we get a lot of inspiration from these weeks, working with our partners, but actually walking the floor. I think for me personally, the tech around human technology and how it links to nutrition for me personally is very exciting around what it means for our brands and our segment within Mars. But I think more pointed is how we're translating what we're hearing a lot over the last few years around these use cases into scalable propositions that we can take and still with pride and apply through our business. So the scalability is what I'm looking for over the next few days.
I'm looking forward to probably two things. One is just, it's not the industry that I'm in, it's the cross industries. The fact that, at least from a pet care standpoint, people are more and more humanizing their pets. And so to be look at health and wellness and all the other elements of how technology is leveraged for humans and what that could mean for pet care, it blows my mind what the possibilities are. But the other thing, and thanks to our partners out there that help bring access to startups that I would never see or have access to, who they're bringing our real problems that I have for the business, and startups are coming and giving me solutions. I'm super grateful for all of you that have organized that. But to me, it's a huge privilege to be able to learn cutting edge and opportunities that we can provide to the startups, and quite frankly, solutions they can provide for us. Super exciting.
I'm looking forward most probably to going to the craps table with our head of data and analytics, who's an excellent gambler, and he's teaching me a lot. But beyond that, I'm also looking forward to startups. For me is a big one, and that's, for instance, Writer AI. We met them here at CES 2 years ago, and we just run from there. But the other one is peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer engagement. We're doing a session later where Gulen Bengi, our CMO, our lead CMO, will be on a peer-to-peer panel, and we're going to participate in that. So that's super interesting. And the other one is to meet totally unlike industries and how they're getting into AI and sort of looking at biotech. What are they doing? And starting to understand there's tons of applications. And with a curious mind, you'll unlock all kinds of conversations and possibilities you would not have seen otherwise. So to me, that's what CES is really about. Taking your curiosity and going to surprising places to just push your thinking. And every time we do that, we get a great outcome. So I'm looking forward to that this week.
Excellent, guys. Well, with that, we'll start to wrap this up. I want to say thank you to Mars for being a tremendous client for EY. Thank you to Brand Innovators for hosting this. And the one thing that I am really looking forward to is how do we scale AI quickly? Time to scale is extremely important. Mars is leading the charge with that. It's to really understand how others are going to get there faster and have this to be impactful from a value perspective. So with that, thank you, everybody.
Just before there's some samples down the back, guys. We brought them in for you, so please take them as you go and enjoy them on our behalf.
You're going to love that razor gum.
Oh my God.
Some good stuff.
Thank you, Lokesh, and thank you, Brand Innovators. Appreciate it. Thank you.